Okay, so we're diving into decentralized AI this time.
And, it's funny. Just the other day, I was actually telling my smart speaker to add oat milk to the grocery list again, because who can remember that?
Right.
But it hit me,
Hmm.
you know, AI is already kind of running our lives, isn't it?
Yeah.
For those of us who remember dial-up, that's kind of mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder, where is all this headed?
You ever get that feeling like AI kind of snuck up on us a little bit?
It's definitely been a rapid evolution,
Hmm.
and yeah, it's understandable to feel a little caught off guard, I think.
To really understand the implications, it helps to define what we mean by AI, because we often hear about artificial general intelligence, AGI,
Right.
self-aware robots, the whole sci-fi scenario,
But what we're mostly dealing with now are specific applications, like machine learning and deep learning.
which are designed for more focused tasks.
Right, so it's not HAL 9000 booking your dentist appointments,
Right.
at least not yet.
Exactly.
But even those focused applications are causing a stir.
Especially with the whole Web3 angle. I was reading an article by Irina Jadala. She's a major player in the blockchain ticketing scene.
Hmm.
And she even called AI the biggest news of the century.
Wow.
And she's not usually one for hyperbole,
Yeah.
and that's saying something.
Right.
But when we start talking about AI's potential in the metaverse,
Well, that's a whole other deep dive waiting to happen.
absolutely. And it's important to note that AI's impact stretches far beyond the metaverse.
We're already seeing it revolutionize industries like marketing and finance.
Sure.
But this is where things get interesting. As AI gets more complex and more powerful, it also becomes really expensive to develop.
This creates a situation where a few powerful companies could end up controlling most of the AI landscape.
That's what we mean by centralized AI. And it raises some serious questions.
Yeah, it's kind of like, imagine if only a handful of companies controlled all the coffee in the world.
Suddenly, your morning brew isn't just about taste. It's about who's setting the price,
Right.
who's deciding which beans get prioritized.
And who ultimately profits.
With something as powerful as AI, those decisions could have huge consequences.
Precisely. And that concentration of power is what has experts concerned.
If only a small group controls this technology, it inherently limits our choices as users.
We're at the mercy of their priorities, which may not always align with our best interests. Think about algorithms, for example.
If they're primarily designed to maximize profits for a specific company, what does that mean for fairness and unbiased decision-making?
Okay, yeah, that starts to feel a bit less like helpful AI assistant and more like, well, I'm trying to avoid a certain sci-fi movie reference.
Right.
But you get the idea.
So if centralized AI is the potential problem, what's the solution?
Well, that's where decentralized AI comes in.
Imagine a future where the development and control of AI are distributed among a much wider network of individuals and communities.
It's like the difference between a massive corporate coffee plantation and a network of independent farmers and cooperatives.
You're talking about a much more diverse range of choices, greater transparency, and potentially a future where AI is used for more collective good.
Okay, that's an interesting thought.
I'm guessing that's where this all ties into blockchain technology.
You got it.
Okay.
Because blockchain offers the security and transparency that's absolutely crucial for building trust in a decentralized system.
Think about it. If we're going to put our faith in decentralized AI, we need a way to make sure it's accountable, transparent, and resistant to manipulation.
Blockchain gives us the tools to do just that.
So with blockchain, everything's out in the open, right?
Yeah,
Kind of like a public
Funny.
record that everyone can see and verify.
exactly.
I'll admit I'm still wrapping my head around how it all works, but the potential is huge.
That inherent transparency is key to ensuring that decentralized AI remains true to its mission.
Yeah, and it's already gaining serious momentum.
According to CoinGecko, there are already over 50 blockchain-based AI companies out there.
Wow, 50. That's impressive. Are there any specific companies that come to mind as major players?
Absolutely. One company that's been making waves is SingularityNet.
They're building a platform that allows anyone to create, share, and monetize AI services in a decentralized way.
And they're not alone. Fetch.ai is another exciting player focusing on creating a decentralized marketplace for AI agents that can perform tasks and even negotiate with each other autonomously.
Okay, now we're talking, it sounds like decentralized AI is about more than just making sure AI is used for good.
It's about fundamentally changing who has access to this technology and how it's controlled.
You hit the nail on the head in a centralized model. We're essentially at the mercy of whatever a few big tech companies decide.
But with the decentralized approach, the power shifts. Imagine a world where instead of just a few companies controlling medical AI, patients themselves could have a say in how algorithms are trained.
Ensuring fairness and preventing bias against certain demographics, that's the promise of decentralized AI.
Wow, that's a powerful example. But I have to imagine, like any new tech, it's not all sunshine and roses, right?
I mean, no system is perfect,
Sure.
and decentralized AI must have its own set of challenges.
You're absolutely right. There are hurdles to overcome. And one challenge that both centralized and decentralized AI share is the black box problem.
The black box. Okay, I think I need a bit of clarification on that one.
It sounds a bit ominous, to be honest.
You see, with AI, we often input data, and the system spits out an answer, a prediction, or a decision.
But the actual process of how the AI arrived at that conclusion can be incredibly complex, even opaque.
It's like a magic trick. You see the input and the impressive outcome, but the actual mechanics are hidden.
Okay, so you're saying we might not always know how the AI is making its decisions, even if those decisions have a huge impact on our lives.
It's kind of unsettling.
Exactly, and that lack of transparency can make people uneasy, especially when AI is being used for things that directly impact our lives, like loan approvals, job applications, or even medical diagnoses.
If an AI denies you a loan, wouldn't you want to know why?
Absolutely. It's like we want to trust this technology, but blind trust isn't really trust at all, is it?
We need to understand how these systems work,
Yeah.
especially as they become more integrated into our daily lives.
That's the crux of it.
And it's why researchers and developers are working on solutions like explainable AI or XAI.
Which aims to make these systems more transparent and their decision-making processes easier to understand.
Explainable AI. I like the sound of that.
It's like saying, hey, AI, if you're going to make decisions that affect my life, show me your work.
Right.
I can definitely get behind that.
So beyond tackling these challenges, what are some of the concrete benefits of going the decentralized AI route?
What's in it for the everyday user like me?
Well, one of the biggest advantages is security.
Decentralized AI, because it leverages blockchain, inherits those inherent security advantages.
Okay.
We're talking about data encryption immutability, which means data can't be tampered with.
And because data is distributed across a network, there's no single point of failure.
So it's like having a super secure, tamper-proof system where even if one part goes down, the whole thing keeps running.
Exactly.
That's pretty impressive.
And this all ties back to that idea of transparency and trust that we've been discussing.
With traditional centralized systems, you essentially have to trust the company behind the AI to handle your data responsibly and use the technology ethically.
Right.
But with a decentralized system, especially one built on a public blockchain, that trust is built into the technology itself.
Okay, so as we delve deeper into the world of AI, it sounds like we have some important choices to make.
Do we want to be passive users subject to the decisions made by a handful of powerful companies? Or do we want to actively participate in shaping the future of AI, ensuring it aligns with our values and benefits everyone?
Decentralized AI seems to offer a path toward that second option, wouldn't you say?
I think that's a great way to put it, and honestly, it's something worth thinking about.
So we're back.
And before the break, we were talking about some pretty big ideas, you know?
Transparency, security, the power dynamics of AI.
Right.
It's a lot to wrap your head around.
But it really feels like we're on the verge of something really significant here.
Absolutely. We're at a crossroads with AI,
Yeah.
and decentralized approaches have the potential to reshape the entire landscape.
But as with any emerging technology, there are still challenges to address.
Okay.
We touched on the black box problem earlier, and that's a big one, but there are others as well.
Like what else should we be aware of as we navigate this new frontier?
Well, one challenge is scalability.
Right now, most decentralized AI projects are still in their early stages.
They haven't been tested at the same scale as the massive centralized AI systems we see deployed by big tech companies.
Figuring out how to make these systems efficient and robust enough to handle vast amounts of data and complex computations, that's a hurdle that researchers and developers are actively working to overcome.
That makes sense.
It's like comparing a small independent coffee shop to a global coffee chain.
Right.
Both have their pros and cons, but scaling up production while maintaining quality and ethical sourcing.
That's a challenge for any business, especially in a new and rapidly evolving industry.
Precisely. And speaking of ethics, that's another area where decentralized AI faces unique challenges.
While in theory, distributing control can lead to more ethical outcomes, we have to ensure that these decentralized systems are designed with robust mechanisms for accountability.
Oh, okay.
After all, just because something is decentralized doesn't automatically make it ethical.
Right.
We need to be thinking carefully about how to prevent malicious actors from influencing these systems or introducing bias in new and unexpected ways.
Okay, that's a really important point.
It's kind of like the old saying, power tends to corrupt.
Sure.
Just because we're distributing power doesn't mean we can ignore the potential for corruption altogether.
Right.
We need safeguards in place, whether it's community oversight, transparent algorithms, or some combination of approaches.
Exactly, and that's where the community aspect of decentralized AI becomes so important.
Many of these projects are being built with open source principles, encouraging collaboration, transparency, and community involvement.
This can be a powerful tool for addressing ethical concerns and ensuring that these technologies are developed and deployed responsibly.
So it's like a checks and balances system where the community acts as a watchdog,
Yeah,
holding the technology accountable.
exactly.
I like that. But let's be honest, for the average person, this is still pretty complex stuff.
What would you say is the most important thing for people to understand about the potential benefits of decentralized AI?
That's a great question for me. It boils down to this.
Decentralized AI has the potential to empower individuals in ways we've never seen before.
It's about shifting control away from large corporations and putting it back into the hands of users.
It's about giving people more agency over their data, their
Yeah.
privacy, and how these powerful technologies are used in their lives.
Okay, I can see why that's so compelling. It's not just about making AI better.
It's about fundamentally changing who gets to decide what better even means.
Right.
But I have to ask, are there any concrete examples of how this might play out in the real world?
Absolutely. Let's take healthcare as an example.
Imagine a future where patients have more control over their medical data. Instead of that data being siloed in centralized databases controlled by hospitals or insurance companies.
It could be stored securely on a decentralized network, accessible only with the patient's consent.
This would give individuals greater control over their privacy and empower them to share their data with researchers or healthcare providers on their own terms.
So it's like giving patients the keys to their own health data,
Yeah.
rather than having it locked away in some corporate vault that's huge. Are there any other examples that come to mind?
Another area with enormous potential is education.
Imagine decentralized AI platforms that connect students with personalized learning experiences tailored to their individual needs and learning styles.
These platforms could leverage the collective knowledge and expertise of educators around the world without being limited by geographical boundaries or traditional educational institutions,
Okay, I could see how that would be a game changer.
especially for students who might not have access to quality education in their own communities.
Right.
It's like democratizing access to knowledge and empowering individuals to take control of their own learning journeys.
Exactly, and that's the core idea behind decentralized AI empowerment.
It's about creating a future where these powerful technologies are used to benefit humanity as a whole, not just a select few.
You know, it's funny, we often hear about AI in the context of like big tech companies and futuristic scenarios, but what you're describing, empowering individuals, democratizing knowledge that feels much more like grounded, more human-centered.
It's about shifting the narrative.
Yeah,
I think moving away from this idea of AI as something that's imposed upon us,
right.
and instead seeing it as a tool that we can collectively shape to create a better future.
I like that. A tool for collective progress rather than something to be feared.
Right.
But, tools can be used for good or bad, right? So how do we ensure that decentralized AI stays true to these values of empowerment and collective good?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And there's no easy answer.
Yeah.
It requires ongoing dialogue, careful consideration of the ethical implications, and building robust systems of governance.
Governance.
Yeah.
Okay, so not just focusing on the tech itself, but also on the structures and frameworks that guide its development and use.
Exactly. And that's something that projects like SingularityNet are actively working on.
They have a system of community governance where token holders can vote on proposals that influence the direction of the platform.
Okay.
It's not a perfect system, but it's an interesting example of how decentralized technologies can be used to create more democratic and participatory decision-making processes.
That's fascinating. So it's not just about the code.
Right.
It's about the community, the shared values, and the mechanisms for collective decision-making.
Yeah.
It sounds like we're talking about a fundamental shift in how we think about technology power and the future.
Precisely. And it's a conversation that's just beginning as we delve deeper into the world of decentralized AI. It's crucial that we have these conversations, that we ask the tough questions, and that we work together to ensure that these technologies are used in a way that benefits everyone.
I completely agree. It's a shared responsibility, not just for developers and researchers, but for all of us.
Right.
As AI becomes more integrated into our lives, it's up to us to engage with these issues, to
Yeah.
educate ourselves, and to advocate for the kind of future we want to see.
Well said. And it's not just about advocating for a specific outcome.
It's about fostering a culture of critical thinking, collaboration,
Yeah.
and informed decision-making around these powerful technologies.
Absolutely. It's about asking ourselves, what does it mean to be human in an age of increasingly intelligent machines?
Right.
What values do we want to uphold? How can we use these tools to create a more just equitable and sustainable world? These are big questions, but they're questions worth asking.
They are indeed, and it's a journey we're all on together.
The future of AI is not predetermined. It's something we're actively shaping with every choice we make, every conversation we have, and every action we take.
That's both exciting and a little daunting, isn't it? But
Yeah.
ultimately, it's empowering.
Yeah.
We're not just passive bystanders. We have agency, we have a voice, and we have a responsibility to shape the future of AI in a way that aligns with our values and aspirations.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, on that note, I think we've provided a lot for our listeners to ponder. The world of decentralized AI is complex.
Full of potential pitfalls and extraordinary opportunities. But by approaching these technologies with a critical eye, a collaborative spirit, and a commitment to ethical development, we can harness their power to create a brighter future for everyone. So keep asking those tough questions, stay engaged, and let's build that future together. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into decentralized AI. We'll catch you next time.